Hey, Nick, 1227 there. You got. Not sure if this was the video that you meant that you were getting back with me on. I'm not sure. But I'm going to reply here to this. And I saw two short videos this morning, one from your car. Um, so I just kind of want to jump right in if I can. I'm glad to see that, you read all those books because those are good books to read. Um, and just want to say this about the options because I like to say to all the Austrians that I meet that we we, we sort of have to agree that we've come to a point, that there's a lot of stuff behind us, and the stuff behind us is the fractional reserve banking system. Okay, um, the private fractional reserve banking system. It's kind of interesting because I think I heard you read, you say in one of those two videos about, it's a private banking system, it's a private banking system. But when you read from the back of Murray's book, he calls it a government thing. It's the government thing. The government does this, the government runs it, the government runs it. And that's because, the Austrians, hate the government, and they blame everything on the government. And, there's no good that can come from the government. You may be so well deeply steeped in their economics, that you believe the same thing, but, I'm not, okay? Um, so if we meet on that corner and the Fed's behind us, we're putting it behind us. No more fractional reserve banking, okay? No private banking cartel that's run by the government, and in fact resort to full reserve banking. We have all those things behind us, and we're on the corner. And you realize at that point, okay, that the issue that remains is, okay, if we abolish fractional reserve banking, and fractional reserve banking is what creates money as a debt, okay, and we try to address the question of whether is the private that's the problem, is the debt that's the problem, or what is the problem? That we get to sort of rationally look at what the options are that are available to us. Sorry, I don't know what just happened with my video camera, but it definitely took a jump to brightness. Um, and so what are the options? What's Murray's option? What's Murray's option? Now, Murray's option is to go back to gold-based currency, really. You know, um, and among the Austrians, there are fights. There are fights actually among the Austrians, even about full reserve versus fractional reserve banking. Some Austrians say fractional reserve banking is okay. It's okay to allow a class of people to create money out of nothing. Okay, um, and that's kind of should be one of the issues, for libertarians, as far as I'm concerned. Why should there should be any class of people, even if they're risk takers, to create wealth out of nothing? Nice to be in that class. But generally speaking, most of them are for full reserve banking. Okay, and as are we. Okay. Now, I like to think that since you read all that stuff, you took the time to read the Kucinich bill, because you know that I'm an advocate of, the monetary proposal reform advanced by Congressman Dennis Kucinich. And then if you have, what's the real problem? Because it's only when you can get down to what the real problems are and how to solve the real problems that you can do the comparison of the issues. Okay, and so that's what I'm basically asking you to do, and maybe we can move on from there. Yeah, my dad introduced me to Murray's book, back when it was written, um, and it's a good read, but it doesn't really explain how to get to a gold-backed currency. It doesn't really explain it. Okay, um, and then you're left with the fact that if you did resort to that, how do you manage the international gold market in a way that ensures that we, the United States of America, because that's what we're worried about, okay, get our share of the international uh, global gold market, so that we even get our 1 to 2%. of production. And how long can that last, by the way? You know, if you look at the people that are looking at the finite resources and all kind of resources, we'd have to resort to then some other backing, because gold's not going to not enough known gold reserves, you know, to provide even the 1 to 2% continual. You know, and if the economy grows by more than that, you know, what do you have? Then you have deflation. You know, why should we have deflation? Why should we have inflation or deflation? You know, the object should be to manage stable buying power of the currency. Now, Austrians take issue with that because they want to back it with gold. Oh, well, that's not so stable buying power of the currency. So, at some point, you get beyond that, just the criticism of the Fed. Okay, you get beyond just the criticism of the government. You look at your real options out there. What do you really want in the money system? And I'll tell you what, people really want in the money system. They want stability. They want certainty. Okay, that's what they want. And the question is, how do you deliver that stability and that certainty to the money system, so that you know you can provide the means of exchange in the national economy known to be able to produce the goods and services that we can produce as our GDP. Those are the issues. And if it's just anti-government stuff, you know, if it's just anti-government rhetoric that you're really running on, you know, you'll never really address, you know, the money system. You'll never. And, you know, you and I are really from the fringes. You know, we're from the fringes. You know, Ron Paul. You know, I'm a total supporter of Ron Paul up to the point where he thinks free banking is going to be the answer. You know, free banking. Today, free banking. You know, we just came from, we're in the middle. We're actually on the throes of the second phase of the crash. You know, that comes about by the excess of private individuals running a money system. You know, and what we're going to go to free banking. We're going to like take the government out of it. We're going to have like more currencies. You know, first of all, just so you know, I'm actually in favor of letting people use whatever they want. You know, local exchange trading programs, script, you know, all that stuff that came out. I'm in favor of that. But you got to have a national monetary system. You got to have a national money system. Okay, and you know, if you know people want to trade shells, you know, I've got one here in my pocket. You know, I can see what I can buy with it in there. So, you got to be realistic. You're going to step off, you know, this insane, as you say, system. What are you going to step onto? Where's the substance of it? You know, read the modern. You know, read the more modern of the Austrians. You know, Word of De Soto's. You know, what are they really offering? No, people want stability in the money system. That's what they want. They want certainty. They want it to be there. They want it to be reliable. You know, they don't really care for competition and free market and money. Money is a national. The nation's money is the treasure of the nation. And as it was, it was Lincoln, you know, the maker of the greenbacks. Well, what was wrong with the greenbacks, by the way? He really said that. You know, they said they were going to create a certain amount. They created exactly that amount. Okay, and they stayed in existence for a long period of time. You know, yeah, they were fought by the banks. They were fought by the bankers. You know, trying to depreciate their values. And, you know, bankers can be successful at that. Mr. Biddle. So there's a lot to it, and I'll be glad to engage you. Very glad to. Thanks.